this white space here, this is the area that you would use as your canvas or your artboard. It's where you create images, you edit images, and you then export it as your final image. We have layers here to your right. We won't be getting into it today, but just to give you an idea, you can layer images on top of each other, graphics on top of each other. Here at the top, we have our main menu with our file, our edit, our image, our select. To the left, we have the toolbar, which I will be going through with you today. So going through the basic tools on how to use Photoshop and to create images for yourself. So we're going to pop up here to File. We're going to open a new image. So I'm just going to open 2D shapes just to give you an idea. So there it is as our layer on the background. And I'm going to go through the tools to the left. So here we have your Move tool. So you just click on the image and you can see I can drag it right, left, up, down, and place it back in place. Then we go to our Selection tool. Now our Selection tool can select different areas of an image. As you see, you can select here. You can select any area really. And this is good for copying and pasting, for deleting. You can obviously select with a circle, with lines, with different shapes, but these all can be used at a later date. Here is another type of selection tool. Now this is different because it's kind of like a lasso. So everything that's within this lasso will be selected. So let me just give you an idea. So if I want to go around this triangle, obviously I'm doing it quite rough now, you just click your mouse, hold down and follow it around. Same with the star. It's handy for, you know, maybe odd shapes. You also have a more angular tool. So if you can see, it's straight lines, so you can select triangles or squares. And we also then have the third tool on this one is magnetic. It clicks to shapes. So if you wanted to go around an odd shape like a 2, as you can see, you click as you go just to keep in time with that shape. And it's selected. And again, you can delete, copy, paste. We then have the magic wand and the magic selection tool. So the quick selection tool will go around areas that are like each other. So let me just give you, like, maybe go around the shapes really quickly. So it's all connected together, where you can go around the 2D here, as you can see. Then we also have the magic wand, which it'll go around like colors. So you can see, you can select the star, you can select the shapes. We're going to move on now to the crop tool. The crop tool crops images into the area you choose. So I'll just give you an idea of how it works here. So if you wanted, let's say, to crop the triangle, if you wanted to crop different spaces, if you want to crop the house here, as you can see. And you can delete everything else then outside of the crop. So this then would be the frame tool. So you click on the frame that you want, and it just frames that piece of the image for you. Now the difference with this and the crop tool is the crop tool brings the whole canvas down. The frame tool will just use the part of the frame you're using. The next tool is the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool will choose a color. If you want to match colors, it's a really good tool to use. So if you just watch here on our artboards on the left, if I click on the yellow, it'll select the exact same yellow. Or if I click on red, it'll select the red, or the blue. Now this can be handy if you want to color other items the same color. And there's a whole different list in there also. Now we also have the spot healing brush. This is great for getting rid of stains or just, you know, fixing up even a photograph. So we'll just give you a quick little idea here. So if we take a look at this image with all the blobs, you don't really want all the paint blobs on the lady's shirt. So we can just go in and choose the size of the tool. Go in and select the slice with 50 pixels, and then you can click and drag over these spots, and they'll get rid of the spots for you. So we're going on to the paint tool. Well, the paint brush. So you can just paint, choose a color and paint on an image like a paintbrush. The next is the cloning tool. The cloning tool copies whatever you have selected to copy. So if you want to go in here and take a look at the images, now what we can do is you can click on the edge, let's say of the flowers with the Alt. If you see the directions here on the right, just have a quick read those to the right of the screen to use the clone stamp to make it easier for you. So you just go down, you choose your brush size, you click on the flower below using the Alt key. See here, and you get a little plus. So it's adding, you know, if you can see, it's adding whatever you've plussed on along, but it follows the trail. So it actually only clones what's right beside the area you're cloning. So that can be really, really handy if you have, I suppose, if you have one person and you want to make another person beside them, or you just want to add in an extra bit of the objects. So the next one we're looking at is the history brush. So if let's say if I deleted something, I can get the history brush and we can actually go back and reapply whatever we've deleted. Now this can be handy if you only want like part of an image back. So let's say if you have an image on top of an image and you want to use, maybe you copy a pair of sunglasses over from another image, you can kind of just add in that part of the image. Your next one is your gradient tool. So this is, you can color in squares, you can color in a background, you can add multiple gradients, but for now it's just showing the 2 style gradient and as full square. Many uses, again, there's a selection of those. We have the blur tool. Within the blur tool then we also have, so there's blur, sharpen, and just give you a little look. So blur it slightly, you may have to up the brush size. So you can, there's the sharpen tool, and then there's also the smudge tool. So that's the smudge, as you can see. Also then the dodge tool, which can brighten. The burn, this darkens parts of the image. This is really good for editing photos if you have areas that have gone really dark. And then the sponge tool. The sponge tool changes saturation of color. So if you can just take a look here, You might see it better in the sun here. The saturation of the corner of the image will change. The pen tool. The pen tool is something that can be a little bit more difficult. So we will be looking at that in more detail further down the line. This is your text tool. Text tool can be used, obviously, as you can see here, to add any text to any image. You can also write vertically, horizontally. We then have your selection tool. This again is a more advanced tool, and we will discuss it at a later point. We then have your shapes. So it's, I suppose, boxes, circles, rectangles. If you're drawing something, you can use the different shapes within this tool. So there's your rectangle. More of a box. A circle. The hand tool, it's kind of for navigation. It's great if you've enlarged an image and you're trying to get back to an area you're working on. If you've enlarged the image, so you can work on small details and you can move it backwards and forwards. You've your magnifying glass, so obviously that's if you need to work on really, really small details of an image. And then obviously your artboard. This is where you can choose different images. You can put in hexadecimal codes, which is where the hashtag is. And you can get hexadecimal codes online for all different images. So you can choose really, really unique colors and use them within your artwork. As you can see over to the right here, I've had blues that I've chosen.